friend of mine, Johnny, met Colin Angus at a rave in the East End of London and said, "Oh, do you need a drummer? I'm a drummer." And sort of got him with the Shaman, and I did a demo with him to illustrate what he'd done, and Colin liked, like what we'd done together, and so Johnny was the drummer for a bit, wasn't he? And then
he was.
And then basically, when Chime came out, Colin kind of realised that Chime was connected to this demo that had happened. He said, "Oh," he got in touch with us, I think probably through Johnny, and said, "You want to come and play at Synergy gig night we do on a regular night we do on a Sunday, kind of indie dance, kind of, very forward-thinking acid house kind of night." And so that was it, really. We came along and played with Ramjack, Mixmaster Morris, Irresistible Force. I remember sort of playing, and it was quite bizarre because we played Chime at the end, and there was a ripple of recognition through the audience. And considering it's your first gig, you just assume you're playing stuff to people blind that they don't know. And it was kind of like, "Oh, look at that!"
Yeah, it was
sort of a couple of thousand white labels, and they know this song. That's kind of
particularly because they were an indie band. It was like an indie sort of
it was a
club that they did, because the Shaman were fantastic then, but they were much more known for it like indie, the indie circuit, really, weren't they? But they were doing
but it reminded me of it reminded me of underground illegal parties rather than nightclubs. Do you know what I mean? It's when nightclubs are still could be a bit iffy still, It's one of those things. It's my musical heroes all used to play live, so just and I wasn't a DJ, I was a musician, so just playing live was the thing to do, really. I used to love going to see bands like Cabaret Voltaire and things like that. So it was it's the obvious thing to do is to play live. I was quite shocked when we entered the whole kind of circuit, if you like, in 1990 to discover that sort of 90% of acts were all miming. I was genuinely shocked. I thought people were going to play live, but I just assumed everyone else was playing live.
Well, it was good because we didn't necessarily make dark music for the dance floor. We were a band. We saw ourselves as a band. We had tracks like Satan were written was it before Chime? Satan was before. I don't know.
Probably a bit before.
So you've got hip hop based sort of guitar-y sort of thing going on, but similar like what the sort of crossover of indie and indie music then, and us. So we always saw ourselves as a band rather than DJ, like dance floor producers. So the natural progression, like Paul said, was to play live, because that's where our heroes and people that we followed. That's how you got built up your name, and that's how you did it. You did the circuit sort of thing, pub band, whatever. And because of Chime, people were getting PAs, like Paul saying, into clubs at the time, and we got in that route. So we'd play nightclubs as well, which sort of was the equivalent of a pub circuit, an hour equivalent. So we played nightclubs, and then we'd end up sort of clearing the dance floor with Satan and things like that. But but gradually people started coming around to, like, this isn't Ride on Time with with Zilla turning up just go woo for a couple of tracks. It's like, no, we are doing this live, and this is how you can actually perform electronic music live, because you're improvising with the structure of the song and everything's running live. Do you know what I mean? And it's this mini studio we set up on stage.
Having a plaque put outside the garage venue, actually, where we did our first ever gig. I mean, I've never seen my name veiled in purple curtains. Normally you don't get to see that. Normally happens when you're dead. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite rare to actually catch it. I feel a bit like Ebenezer sort of
Scrooge.
Ebenezer Good. No, Ebenezer Scrooge. Like sort of looking down at my death. No, it's. There's all sorts of things. You know what I mean? It's like a slow ripple. I don't really see it in digital steps. It's more of an analog flow. Glastonbury, I suppose. First Glastonbury was a big thing because that's where I discovered we could entertain about 40,000 people who didn't know the music we were playing at them, and they all seemed to enjoy it. And it's like, oh, okay, so we can fit into a rock environment, but with sort of acid house or whatever. And that was a thrilling moment, because that kind of opened up. We'd done tours in venues and things like that before, which kind of wasn't done either at the time. Back in the early 90s, it was all about doing PAs, personal appearances in clubs, and we got so fed up with it because you'd never get monitors. They expect you to do 2 songs and bugger off, and it's like, come all the way to Middlesbrough. I've got 40 minutes. Can I not play? It's like, you can't do 40 minutes one act, you know, that kind of thing. And it's like, this isn't really our environment. So doing tours like the sort of Megadog, Midi Circus, and teaming up with people like Megadog, well, they were another good, solid kind of, you know, people with a background in indie music and promoting bands and that kind of thing. And their clubs were brilliant. Again, just up the road. Holloway Road was a good place for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it is actually, isn't it?
Yeah. Advice I would say is just be true to yourself. Just do what you want. Don't try and chase
The latest
fashion.
trend.
You know, of course, be influenced by it. I was influenced by how I heard house music and thought, oh, hang on, that's kind of what I'm doing, but it's not right. I want to do it like this. And you know, take inspiration from what you like, of course, but do it your way. Because if you don't, it's not what have you got to show people? Someone like Stevie Wonder said, you know, it's not the instrument. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It isn't. It's whoever's playing it. That's the important thing. And you can make brilliant music on the cheapest laptop nowadays. So
won't sound very good, but it. No, it is.
That's not true.
No, it's not true. No, don't get bogged down with I need the latest this to make my, and then that's going to make my track. Be a really good track. It's the idea, isn't it?
I think people are still dancing, so do you know what I mean? It's fundamental, isn't it? Dance music. People like to dance. People are always going to dance. It's kind of basic behaviour. You know, music as a rhythm for people to dance to. It's always going to be there. Just finishing an album, and the plan next year is to try and get some sort of massive, fantastic gigs for everyone to come to and celebrate 25 years of Chime.
Pinning it on sort of 25 years, really. 25 gigs, 25 years. You know, let's talk of a DVD. Paul's taken some brilliant home footage from way back when, backstages and all this.
Well, I filmed everything from 1990 onwards.
There's some brilliant stuff.
The only thing that I didn't film was the last 4 years, which is a shame.
And we got the camera stolen.
Shenanigans backstage. We lost the camera.
A lot of good footage with the camera getting stolen with the tapes as well. Back in Barcelona, Spain, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So for somebody's, you know, just
shame.
threw it in the bin.
The tapes.
But I mean, you know, if somebody has got.
That was the tour of Orbital, Aphex Twin, Moby, and Mark Gage, and all the fun and frolics that went on that tour.
Typical, isn't it?
Got thrown in the bin.
So you know, we're not going to put in a mic. It's putting together a DVD sort of thing with that sort of documentary, if you like. But there is some great footage there.